Good evening. Welcome to the Celtic Way. Celtic versus Dundee United team news and reaction. I'm Tony Haggerty at Haggerty10 on the X and Twitter handle, and I'm delighted to be joined by Ryan McGinlay at the Ryan McGinlay on the X or Twitter handle. Seems like ages since we've done one of these, young man. But it was the Rangers game, wasn't it? But there you go. And in a wrestler's native style, the Clown and Wolfman are reunited. You can decide which one of them you want to be, Ryan. I don't mind. But how you doing,
definitely,
sir? You good?
Yeah, definitely the Clown tonight, unfortunately, Tony. I thought this was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so that's the reason why I'm a bit late coming on this evening. Apologies, guys, for the lateness of this. It's great when you're driving down the road thinking that you're on time and then all of a sudden the team's out and you're frantically trying to do a team graphic 2 minutes before you go on. But all good, we're here. I'll just read out the team news for tonight. It's an unchanged team from the team that played against St Mirren on Sunday afternoon. In goals, Kasper Schmeichel, Greg Taylor, Austin Trusty, Cannon Carter-Vickers and Alistair Johnson left to right in the defence. In the midfield, it's Callum McGregor, Arne Engels and Luke McCowan. Up front is Adam Ida, on the left is Daizen Maeda, and on the right is Nicholas Kuhn. The subs for tonight's game, and they have completely disappeared off my screen. I will read them out just now. Sinisalo, Scales, Palma, Kyogo, Baye, Yang, Bernardo, Hatate and Ralston. So an unchanged team, Tony, but a strong one at the same time. He seems to have vanished. This is a great start to the podcast. He's vanished out of thin air. So yeah, it's an unchanged team tonight. Obviously, Adam does getting his chance again, leading the line. Luke McCowan as well. Two players that have really seen the bench a lot recently at Celtic, but they're both getting starts tonight. And we obviously see Arne Engels there as well, who is the record signing from Augsburg. He has been linked with interest from Atalanta. Gasparini's Atalanta are seemingly interested in his services, so that might be something to keep an eye out on. Tony's back. I was looking down at the screen there. I was looking down at my own phone, and then you disappeared. So it was a bit like Harry Houdini. You're back, Tony. What do you think of that team?
I find the team fine. Obviously, continuity and selection there. The manager picked an unchanged team. My dogs picked a fine time to just go absolutely tonto. I mean, they were going wild there, but there you go. My apologies for that. So that's where I was.
We're even now, Tony.
Yes, indeed. Calming them down. When you get 5 of them, it's a bit of a wretch, but there you go. They're fine now, but all good. Yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that team, because I thought that team did well on Saturday, despite a lot of people talking about moans and groans, or the manager talking about moans and groans, but they got the job done, Ryan, and I was chuffed at that. Glad to see Luke McCowan getting an extended run, and also Adam Ida. I think Adam Ida just needs a goal for his confidence levels, because he's doing a lot of things right. You know, a lot of good build-up play and hold-up play, linking up. But, you know, I think he's his own harshest critic and he judges himself on goals, doesn't he? So I'd like to see him score tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see him score as well. I'd like any Celtic striker to score, to be honest, in any given game, because, you know, that's what they're there for. That's their main source of positivity or criticism, is through the amount of goals they get or don't get in a game. But the way that this Celtic team goes, they don't necessarily rely on the strikers to necessarily score all the time. They've got that through the wingers. The wingers are basically like forwards that play out wide. I was speaking to somebody today and I was saying that Daizen Maeda and Nicholas Kuhn have both got very respectable goal records this season, and they will be tasked with doing the same again tonight and breaking down a team that Celtic didn't break down last time. You know, it was only a couple of weeks ago that Celtic played Dundee United. It was so late to play them first in the season, or the first game between this side in the season, and then they play them a couple of weeks later. So I'm hoping that there's just a few more goals than what there was last time at Tannadice, but they've got the firepower. They've got Austin Trusty back in the defence, who's scored his first goal at the weekend for Celtic. They've got Arne Engels, who's getting assists and goals aplenty. I'm pretty confident that tonight Celtic will score a couple of goals and really entertain the fans that are going along to the game.
I don't think they'll draw a blank tonight. Let's put it this way, Ryan. I thought Dundee United, it was a fine rearguard defensive performance, but Celtic didn't create much on Tayside, did they? Which was the biggest disappointment. But sometimes that happens, so you just have to move on from it. But I've got a feeling tonight it'll be better, especially at home. The onus is on Celtic to attack. I don't know about you, but I thought Arne Engels was worthy of a shout for the man of the match. His third game in succession on Saturday. it went to Nicholas Kuhn because he scored 2 goals. I completely understand that. But what I'm liking about Arne Engels is he's coming onto a game, Ryan, and he was obviously put up yesterday to speak to the media. I thought he handled it all very, very well. And I just think you're seeing a guy now getting into his stride, and I'm pretty delighted with that. Luke McCowan gave him a bit of energy on Saturday as well. Great pass through for Maida to help set up the first goal for Kuhn. So, that's that part of your midfield's function as well. So, and I think that's a team that will give Dundee United trouble. And as I say, I think everybody's waxing lyrical about Nicholas Kuhn at the minute, but the one, it's not a concern for me, but the one I'm more concerned about is Adam Maida. I would just like Adam Maida to score, and I've got a feeling that he'll do it tonight.
Yeah, I've got a funny feeling that he'll get on the score sheet as well. It's just been a wee while since he last scored for Celtic. You're obviously thinking back to when was the last time he scored, Tony? I'm thinking when was the last time Adam Maida did score for Celtic? I'm putting you on the spot there. I realise that, but
I think it was the Ross County game, was it? Ross County?
That sounds about right, yeah. It's
5-0,
been a wee while since.
They won the quickness of foot and deftly put in. Away.
Yeah, that was one of my favourite goals of this season. Anybody that can say differently in the comments, please feel free to do so if you scored more recently than then. But it just seems as if there's not a lot of goals coming from the striking position this season. I know both are not far off of double digits, but at the same time, there's more of an onus for the wingers to be scoring goals this season, particularly Nicholas Kuhn, who has really done them a favour, I think, with the lack of goals that are coming up front, that are coming from the side. And Daizen Maeda's well on his way to posting great numbers this season in front of goal. He's already got his best ever season in front of goal. I think he could easily move into the 18, 19, 20 goals in all competitions this season. But I'm delighted that the goals are spread out throughout the team. You've got Engels that can score goals. Callum McGregor scored a few goals this season, that's for sure. Luke McCowan knows where the goal is, both for Dundee at the start of the season, then for Celtic. And then your defenders are scoring too. Alistair Johnston, Austin Crosby. You wouldn't put it past either Karen Carter-Vickers or Greg Taylor to get on the score sheet at some point as well. There's goals all over the team, Tony, so it's not that big a problem.
No, it's not. It's not a concern for me because you look at the last few home games. What have they won? 5-0, 2 4-0s and a 3-0. That's Ross County, Motherwell and St Johnstone 4-0 and 3-0 St Mirren. So goals isn't a problem. You just like to see your strikers scoring, don't you, on a regular basis? So as I say, I'm hopeful that Adam Maida gets one tonight. Hopefully that starts a wee goal glut, as they say, for him. But no, I'm not. And I was mentioning I was there on Saturday as a fan with my father and his season tickets, but I was mentioning to the guy in front of me that Arno Engels' delivery when just before Austin Trusty scored, that is a potent weapon now. Set pieces are a big part of football, and when Arno Engels whips it in and he gives defenders and attackers something to go for, it's very impossible to defend. He did it against Motherwell too, didn't he? When Scales got a touch on, and then Maida got the close range header. When his delivery's on the money like that, you're more or less scoring a goal because it's right on top of everybody, and all it needs is a touch. So I think that's something that we need to work more on and perfect. I'm sure he is trying to perfect it, but we're getting a bit of joy from that. So that's another weapon in Celtic's arsenal that goals can come from. I'm pretty delighted at that.
Yeah, it's what I expect from a player that you spend that amount of money on, but it's great to see it come to fruition. Yeah. He is clearly a very, very much a dead ball specialist, and he's shown that with his corners. Not all of his corners were perfect on Sunday, but the one that counted was that one, obviously the one that got the assist for Austin Trusty. It was very Julian-esque, I said, on the post-match briefing, the way that Austin Trusty glanced it in. He certainly enjoyed his celebration with the fans. But I'm delighted to see him back in the team, Tony. I thought he played okay. Some of his passing was a bit erratic at the start of that game, but he grew into it, and I'm delighted to see him back. I'm glad that he's shaking off his illness that I feel like half of Scotland had over the Christmas period and the New Year period, including loads of members of my family, weirdly enough. But there's definitely bugs going about. I'm glad that he's fully recovered from that, and he's back in the starting lineup where he belongs.
Well, now that Trusty and the likes of Cameron, Carter-Vickers and Johnson know that Engels can do that, I'm expecting them to contest everything. If Engels puts it in the mixer and lets them go for it and gives them a chance to get their head on something. They should be looking for that now every time Engels takes a corner in, swinging corner in. And as I say, that's something that I'll be looking more at going forward to see, if it does come to fruition more often than not. But I'm quite delighted that he's got a settled team tonight. I had no qualms about the way they went about their business against St Mirren. They got the job done. I think tonight's another case of getting the job done. Obviously, there'll be lots of focus and of attention on the crowd and the reception Greg Taylor will get playing his 200th game tonight. So good on Greg Taylor, and congratulations to him, and obviously the reception that Brendan Rodgers gets as well. But I think that's a sideshow and a circus that nobody has to dwell on. We move on. Celtic have got 3 points tonight, Ryan. And what do we always say when you get a chance to apply that scoreboard pressure as a manager? Says you've got to take it. 3 points is just what it's all about tonight, Ryan. Doesn't matter how you achieve them. Just go and get 3 points. Move 16 ahead, and then the pendulum of pressure switches back to your rivals who travel to Dens Park tomorrow night.
Yes, they travel there tomorrow, and they're depleted as well in their defence, as they have been for the past few games. It's a real opportunity, as you said, to put that scoreboard pressure on. Win by any means necessary tonight. Hopefully they win it convincingly, but if they need to grind it out, then they've got the players and the capability both in the starting lineup and on the bench to make sure that becomes a reality. Scoreboard pressure. As much as I think that the league is a bit of a formality at this point in time, given the gap between the two sides, until it's mathematically certain, then it's not over till it's over. But at the same time, put that pressure on and see what happens at Dens Park tomorrow. You don't want to give Rangers any onus or any encouragement to go to Dens Park and think, right, if we get points here, we can get right back into this. I think they will drop points tomorrow, which is why Celtic need to win tonight to put even more pressure on them. It's a difficult game going to Dens Park. It's a difficult game for Celtic tonight against one of the informed teams in the league. Unlucky not to get anything against Hearts last time out. But yeah, put that scoreboard pressure on and let's see what happens in 24 hours for Rangers against Dundee at Dens Park. But let's beat Dundee's rivals tonight, their greatest rivals tonight in our own backyard.
Yeah, and I think Celtic will be mindful of the 22nd of December result, won't they? And it's an early chance to lay a blow on them because I think they were smarting. I think that obliterated Celtic's 100% away record, didn't it, in the league this season? So I think Brendan Rodgers was kind of like, right, okay, no worries, that's gone, because I think he was wanting to go perfect in the away games as well, but they did up until that point. So yeah, a rare occasion when Celtic drew a blank. It was an off day, wasn't it? Or certainly not so much an off day in terms of the fact that they just weren't creative in front of goal. Kyogo's chance one-on-one was probably the best of the opportunities that they created that day, Ryan. I'm struggling to think of many more that they did.
Yep. Engels at the end, where he puts it straight at the goalkeeper. And then a couple of miss hits, one from Ida and I think a couple from Kyogo, including that one that we talked about, the one that he was right in front of goal and he seems to kick the ground instead of kick the ball, which was really unfortunate. But that game's passed. Rangers have got points, 2 points. They've had 3 occasions since that game. So it just goes to show you that away games aren't a formality in this league. You've got to accept that these teams are going to come out, especially at home, and try and get a result, whether that be a draw or a win. It didn't happen for Celtic on that day, but it didn't cost them too much in the long run, just as the same as the result against Rangers automatically hasn't cost them too much in the long run, given results last time out.
And I think despite the fact that Dundee United have on loan Wrexham goal scorer Sam Dalby in a line, I don't expect to see much change in Dundee United in the way they play. And I don't think there'll be much change from the way Motherwell, St Johnstone, St Mirren have played. I don't think they'll show much ambition. They'll try and hit you on the counter, but I just think they'll sit in and see what they can get. But so it's up to Celtic to break them down. And I think patience could be a buzzword tonight, or the watchword. And I think all the Celtic fans will be and can be patient as long as that breakthrough comes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty confident that Celtic can do that tonight. Tony, how do you see the game going tonight? And I think I'll welcome any other predictions in the comments section just before we finish off. How do you see this game going tonight, Tony?
I did the predicted 11s, of which I got 10 because I thought Kyogo might come back in for Ida, but glad to see Ida started for the second game in a row. I said that Celtic would win by 2 clear goals, Ryan. So, and based on that, I'll say 2-0.
Okay. I'm going to
go
one up.
No,
I'm going to go up. I'm going to say 3-0. I think Celtic have goals in their team. That's giving respect to Dundee United, because I think 3-0's in some ways, especially if you're set out to defend, sometimes 3-0 isn't the worst result for a team coming to Celtic Park, considering the firepower that they do have in their possession on the pitch and on the bench. I think Celtic will have no problems tonight. Will show their stuff. But what I want to see just as much as a good win, as a good performance as well. We did see glimpses of that at the end of the first half, start the second half, and before the game became a bit of a procession towards the end. But I think we'll see a performance tonight. I think we'll see a response. I'm looking forward to tonight. These games are coming thick and fast, but you can't complain. The business end of the season has arrived. And yeah, every 2 or 3 days having a game to look forward to is always good, especially when you're covering Celtic.
Thanks to the 437 people joining us, guys. I'll read some of your predictions out right now. First up, 573 versus 13. A Celtic victory. There you go. Mary Moynes saying 3-0. I think Hazel Finn said 3-0 as well, didn't she? Stephen McFarlane said 2-0 tonight. There's Hazel there. Even Hazel, how you doing, regular contributor? Thank you for that. Ben Kearney saying 2-0 for him as well, agreeing with myself. And James McGrory saying, can see it being a stuffy game, we would take a 1-0. Don't say that, James, don't like stuffy games. 2+ says Andy. Lots of other predictions coming in, Ryan. Owe Zilla, 2-0 Celtic, 2-1 Celtic says Alexander B. Gray, a wee bit closer than I would like it, to be fair. Brian Harkin saying 4-1 Celtic, Perry saying Celtic will cruise at 3-0, Bradlad 88 saying 5-0, and Andy, thank you for that. Hit the likes, people. He's saying thank you, Andy. Appreciate that, fella. 7-0 says 0-250. That's always one, isn't it?
Yeah, Tony, just before I forget and before we go, I need to bring up this special offer that we've got to start the new year. It's transfer season, and with transfer season at the moment, we are doing a very special transfer offer. Just £1 for 6 months of access on the Celtic Way website. All you need to do is go to www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. £1 for 6 months, as I previously said. On there, you'll get the latest on transfers, breaking manager and player interviews, match tactics and analysis with StatsBomb data or data provider, scouting reports and player analysis from the likes of Stuart Ross and Alan Morrison, as well as myself, John and Tony, exclusive Celtic interviews, and the bespoke ad-free app that is available on the Google Play Store and the iOS store. So have a wee look out for that. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe and get involved, guys. Thank you very much.
Indeed, thank you for that, and thank you to everybody who has subscribed, and thank you if you've taken us up on the offer recently. That's very kind. Francis Leicester saying 4-0 Celtic, another regular comment. Contributor, thank you, Francis. Danny Devine 7-2, James Quinn 3-0, and Aero 250 coming back and saying 3-0. He's saying that was him who said 7-0. So there you go. So most people predicting a Celtic win, Ryan. Lots of people thinking by a lot of goals. Some people seeing it being a tight affair. You said 3-0, didn't you?
Certainly did. And I see Arne Engels getting on the score sheet. Whether that's from the penalty spot or from open play, I can't see Arne Engels not getting a... Well, there's another prediction, actually, you could make. Who's gonna win man of the match tonight? Because for me, and I know you said it earlier on in the podcast, I did think that Arne Engels was the best player on the park. Yeah. But couldn't score 2 tap-ins. Therefore, you're not going to give it to the guy that didn't get 2 tap-ins, 2 goals. They're always going to jump up on that sort of totem pole of the man of the match award. But I think that Arne Engels was the best player in the park, and I can see him doing that again. I can see him being the best player in the park again tonight. He's just that sort of player. He's a caviar player to watch. He's a treat at times with some of the stuff that he does. I'm delighted to see that his form's picked up, and I want him to have that sort of statement performance tonight, one that will really get people off their seats and be like, right, this guy's truly arrived, and he's there to dominate the Celtic midfield.
I think he's hitting his stride. I think we spoke about it before. I think the manager taking him out of firing line was the best thing that happened to Arnie Engels, because he's not really looked back since, has he? And he's been terrific in the games that he's played, the ones at home. So I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from Arnie Engels. And again, go back to that's the player that we all thought we'd signed. Price tag set aside, because he doesn't decide the price tag, because we know he has that in him. And as you say, we're now waiting for the big breakout performance where he grabs a game by the scruff of the neck and, bosses it from start to finish. But it's there, it's in the post, it's coming. He's won 2 out of the last 3 Man of the Match awards at Celtic Park. Can he make it 3 out of 4? Go and do it, Arna. I think everybody's willing him to succeed now and be that player, because I haven't listened to him yesterday. He's a very old head and young shoulders as well, which I quite like. And also as well, I think everybody's desperate for Adam Ida to succeed too. He does a lot of good things, sometimes that go unnoticed. And because he's not scoring, he's getting judged on that. And he judges himself on that. I get that. But he has some nice touches. He had a couple of cracking spins and layoffs, and particularly in the second half on Sunday, which I really, really liked, because he didn't let his head go down, because he was starved of any decent service on Saturday, to be perfectly honest. But here's hoping he gets the service tonight. But as I say, Arnie Engels for me is settling into becoming the player that we thought we'd sign from Augsburg in the summer, and I like it, and I like what he's bringing, and I think I like to Luke McCowan's energy. I think the two of them moving forward can be a boon for Celtic.
Yep, I agree with absolutely everything you said, Tony. I'm just mindful of the fact that it's 7:15. I'll need to be heading down the road to get to the park. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the game, guys. Sorry we're a wee bit later tonight. That was completely my fault, and I do apologise. Thank you to the 460 people that have joined us tonight. Despite being on later, we really do appreciate it. We'll try and be on as quickly as we can post match. So we'll be a bit sharpish and going there post-match. But thank you to everybody for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoy the game when it kicks off in just over half an hour's time.
It's always result dependent, I always say that, but wherever you're doing and wherever you are, enjoy the game. We'll reconvene later tonight as soon as possible after the game, once the work's done, but it'll probably be a lot sooner after the game. We're trying to do that now, aren't we, Ryan? Get on the podcast quicker after the game. So we shall see you all soon, guys, but enjoy. Ryan, you get yourself to the stadium. Enjoy it, sir, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the game, and fingers crossed 3 points come our way.